So we are going to move on to the next session. In many African traditions, healing begins not with forgetting, but with remembering, bringing light to what was hidden so the spirit may rest and rise again. This next experience is an invitation into that sacred remembering, a journey from wounds to wisdom, where the power of ancestral connection becomes a pathway to healing. Guiding us through this immersion is Litha Booi. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Litha Booi, an ancestral healer, a storyteller, and a spiritual activist. She carries the stories of those who came before us and reminds us that healing is both personal and collective. Welcome, Litha. Over to you.
Thank you. Greetings, Tamar. Wow. uh, I usually would say, let's just take a moment to, before I start anything, I always used to, in all my circles and all my work that I do, I start off just by taking a moment to honor the elders, the elders who are in this room, the elders who have shared. Baba Mandaz, I have the privilege to know. Mam Tozi, I have the privilege to know. Kulumbeti, I have the privilege to know. And Kululebo, I have the privilege to know. These are individuals that have literally, guided me in many ways, in different ways. So it's just really important. And one of my greatest teachings has always been to honor the elders before you start anything. And in ancient times, we would seek permission and blessing, from the elders. And so for me, this is just such a privilege and an honor to be ushered into this conversation after such a powerful experience with the elders. It truly means that I pray whatever comes through me, through you, is held in a good way and sits in a good way. And so I always used to say, like, before we start anything, let's just ground ourselves. And I like to play, I've got a very youthful spirit, youthful energy. So the invitation is for you to pose questions and join me in this journey, because for me, this is really about a journey of reimagining possibilities. This is truly a time where we have to reshape the future, reimagine ourselves, and connect with the ancestors in a way that we've never connected before. So I'm really excited to share what I have learned, but most importantly, I'm really excited to hear from each and every single one of you. Pose your questions and let's learn and grow together. From an African perspective, there is no one individual who's the thought leader. I believe that all of us need to show up and bring ourselves fully to the table. And so the invitation is for you to bring yourself fully to the table too, and ask as many questions as you'd like. Yes.
And just, is that background noise coming from you?
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, I'm at a place where I'm at a restaurant. Yeah, I'm not at my home place.
Okay. So we'll just have to work with it?
For the time being, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
My apologies about that.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So I always like to just pasha or pray us into the space where we can be able to move forward in a good way. So the invitation is for you just to close your eyes, and I'll invite the ancestors. I know they're already here and they're flowing with us, but just for the session, invitation is for you to just ground yourself and, take a deep breath. Just take one deep breath in and out. One more deep breath in and out. Tamako, sithi Nkosi Tamagwini, kuni nonke sithwele esikhulu, sithwele esibilisayo, sithwele esibilisayo. Bese cela ukuthi nisondele ngendlela elungileyo. Bese cela ukuthi noko yonke into ebithethwe namhlanje, bese cela ukuthi nisikhokhele, nisikhanyisele indlela zethu zibe mhlophe. Siyanicela nina abantu badala ukuthi noko ke, nisiphilise, ngoba lamaxesha ayasicela ukuthi siphakame ngenye indlela. We give thanks to all of the ancestors in this room, to all of the elders who've held the space in this room, and to all of the organizers that have ensured that this great African container is held in a good way. We just ask the ancestors to come forward in a good way. We ask that the wise and ancient ones just to be with us at this current moment. Help us to be able to open up our hearts, open up our minds, so that we may receive the ancestral wisdom that is seeking to emit or transmit in this time and in this moment. We are deeply grateful for this gathering, for we know that there have been many gatherings before, but this one is very unique in its initiatory phase. And we just ask that you bless it, bless it, bless it. We ask that all those hands that have ensured that this moment comes to existence also feel the blessings of the ancestors. We ask that all those wise, ancient ones that have dreamt of a time where Africa rises feel the energy of this transmission, feel the energy of this call, feel the energy of this gathering, and know that although we might not always get it right, but we are making sure to take one step at a time to move forward in a good way. We are deeply grateful to you all. Deeply, deeply grateful to you all. We ask that you bless the session. And may what needs to be said be said. What needs to be heard be heard. What needs to be felt be felt. What needs to be moved. What needs to be seen be seen. Illuminate us, O great wise ancient ones. Hold us, O great wise ancient ones. May the medicine that is seeking to be shared in this session be received in a good way. And if not now, may the medicine be received in the dreamscapes or in the daily walking life. We trust you. We love you. We know you're there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sithi Nkosi magwini makuthetha umnyama kuvela ukhanga wonke amaxesha akhe. Amakho thokozani. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Oh, good. Wow. I just in my experience, I've learned a lot of the times that, the ancestors sit within our body. And so I just want you to take a moment and feel into your body. Just feel into the energy of your body right now. Listen to your body. How is your body feeling? Is there tension? Is there curiosity? What's happening inside of your body right now? Just take a moment to dial in. Dial into your body. Feel into the sacred wisdom of the body too that exists, because the body knows. The body knows, but beyond that, the body is a sacred vessel that carries the wisdom of many, many generations, of many, many lineages. What's happening to your body right now? And if you need to stand up and stretch, please do so that you can embody the wisdom from the elders and open yourself up to receive more. Do whatever you need to do so that you can integrate the past call. And when you feel like you've landed within your body, and always remember this, so in my many initiations, my elders used to say to me, you will never be able to capture everything, but know that everything is captured. And so for me, the things that I don't understand, I know my body, my soul, my spirit, my emotions understand it. And I just let it go. I let it go because too often we try to control things and we try to make sense of things. Let the sense be made for you and you not seek to make the sense, because some things go beyond, your capacity to hold right now. Just take a moment to allow, the past sessions, the past days and weeks that have led up, because I believe that the ancestors called us all here today. I believe that this is a sacred gathering that was ordained long time ago. There have been many gatherings like this before, and there'll be many gatherings like this again. And so welcome. I want to welcome each and every single one of you. I believe there's about 56 people on this call. Usually I would go one by one by one, but I'll just say ancestral greetings to you all. And I'm deeply humbled and deeply privileged to be able to be in sacred space with you. Deeply humbled. I thank you. I thank your ancestors for trusting the Africa Wellness Summit, for trusting me to be able to share a piece of my wisdom that I've learned. And so with that said, let's explore, you know. And for me, this is one thing that I'd like to say. Over the past couple of years, I've had many ceremonies, many rituals that I've done, you know, deeply, deeply powerful and transformational. And there was a point in my life where I wanted to end my life, you know, to commit suicide because I didn't have a purpose. I didn't feel like life was worth living. And in those moments, what happened was the ancestors called me back. They called me back into towards myself, you know. They called me back into what I call ancestral alignment. And when I use the word ancestral alignment, I mean there is a point where you are so aligned to who and what you are and the reason for your incarnation, you just feel it, you know? You're walking the path that is destined for you, and you're supported by the ancestors who walk beside you. And there's a great joy in the journey. There's a great privilege in the journey. There's a great level of humility in the journey too. And so I recall just sitting with my ancestors, I'll share this story. And I asked them, like, okay, but what the hell is the purpose of this thing called life? Why are we here? I mean, it's just miserable. We're suffering the whole time. And, you know, and there's just so much war and genocide here and this and that there, you know. And they just called me into order, you know. And I love the fact that there's this ideology that, you know, you have the ancestors on the one hand, and then you have your elders on the other hand, who hold you to ancestral accountability. Now, ancestral accountability is this idea that once you find your purpose, once you find your mission, once you find your reason for being, you need a team that will support you to move forward. My elders have held me radically accountable because they know what I carry has to be transmitted and shared to the world. And so in this journey, when I sat with my ancestors, they showed me this journey of life, you know. They said that, you know, before you are born, there's an ancestral council that sits, a council of elders, a council of wise ones, you know, and they ask you, like, what do you want to do in this life and time? Because it's choice, you know. And you mention whatever it is that you want to do. In my case, I said, you know, I don't know, I just want to change the world and just be a good human being and try my best to help people to remember the path that they've lost. And so in that session or in that meeting, in that ancestral council, before I came down, you know, a lot of them said, okay, we will support you in your destiny. We will support you in your mission. We will support you in all that you're here to do. However, you will forget. You'll forget it all. You'll forget everything. You know, the state of empowerment that you have right now when you sit amongst the ancestors, you will lose it all. You will lose it all so that you can regain it all. But the beauty is this: you do not walk alone. You don't walk alone. On your mother's side, we will give you two ancestors that will follow you and be your protectors and your carers. On your father's side, we will provide you with two ancestors that will be your mother, your guide and your guides and your protectors. So you've got a team already that you can call upon, but you will know when the timing is right. You will know how to move in a good way. You will know because we will call you into your ancestral alignment and call you into your ancestral destiny and call you into your mission and purpose, because this is why you chose to incarnate. And in that moment, I saw the ancestors surrounding me, and it was just this beautiful experience. And then I incarnated into the space, just like that little child over there. So random that I actually sat next to a child. You know, it was just like sleeping, asleep, you know, which is symbolic in many ways because that's the state of unconsciousness that we live our lives in for the longest period of times until we become conscious again. We become so conscious and awake and aware. And when we start this awareness, and for me, it was a journey of understanding that your what we call trauma is merely an opportunity for us to transform ourselves, transform the lineage into a state of wellness. And in that so-called trauma lies the wisdom. And so in my journey, what they did was they put me in a family where there was a lot of conflict and, you know, and they showed me this lineage where there was a lot of uh, animosity, anger, hate, and all of these things. And they were like, well, where's the best place to start? Right with your family. And of course, the hardest one as well. But the wisest teachers I've found are not my elders, but my brother. Oh my God, I just want to kill him 90% of the times. But what he teaches me is, wow, profound. When I step outside of my anger and I remember my ancestral mission and my destiny and my purpose, because if I can't start with myself and with my family, then there's a shift and a challenge, you know? For me, that's where the greatest learning comes from. And so in this journey, what happened was I was born into this family and a lot of trauma and a lot of challenges that I had to face. And it was beautiful for me, you know, hindsight, painful. Oh, painful. To be honest with you, I used to run away from them because I couldn't stand the idea that I had to face these guys that just didn't get me, you know, because I'm always the weird one who was a little bit more spiritual and highly more connected, you know, and that's the journey, I suppose, you know, that's the journey that I had to take. And so the difficulty lied in the fact that how could I transform this animosity? Because I didn't know what to do. And so I recall, I think I must have been about 20, in my early 20s. Yeah, early 20s. My ancestors started to visit more and more. It was my grandfather, my great-great-grandfather from my father's side of the family. Um, igama lakhe. His name is Mpope. Umbopa used to come to me and show me this vision, and he was wearing these clothes, and he'd just be like, "Dude, you have to rebuild our ancestral hut," you know. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" It's like I'm like the third born, and I'm like, I don't know. It's like, why are you choosing me when there's like three other brothers ahead of me? And all this stuff. And it was just the hardest journey for me to actually accept. And the funny thing is, for many generations, my fathers, my uncles, and my grandfathers were told the exact same message, but they were not ready or not well resourced enough to be able to do that, to rebuild the ancestral hut. And this is a space where we gather. This is the space we call Ikaya Kun, which is a ritual space where if there's a ritual or ceremony that's needed to be done with the ancestors, we go there as community and as family. And so really the essence of what they were saying to me is that the house that had dilapidated and was broken over time represented the dilapidation and how deeply fractured the family lines and the generational traumas lied within that. That gave me a physical example of what it meant to rebuild and transform ancestral trauma into ancestral wisdom. And of course, I was young and I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, all I can say is yes, because and so I worked a bit and they provided me with finances and I started to build. And I want to warn you, and it's not not in a bad way, but you have to be strong. You have to be courageous because remember, when you are doing ancestral work of any kind, when you are healing generational trauma of any kind, there will always be forces that are content with the way that things are. There will always be forces that try to block your path. There will always be forces that try to fight you, literally fight you, because there are forces that are content with the system and the structures of how badly disembodied the family line is, or how badly broken the family lineage is. And so I didn't know that at the time. So I went in very naively thinking, oh, I'll just put some money to it and I'll just build this up. Come on, it's not that difficult, right? Come on, you just pay someone and he does it. And at that time, I didn't know. I didn't know. So I started to walk in this way where I build. And in this period, I promise you, so much in my life was challenged. So much in my life. I was married and I got divorced. I fought with my my father, who I love, and I respect, about money. My mother just, it was just everything that was wrong, that could have gone wrong, went wrong. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because that's the state of disembodiment, or the state of fractures, or the state of unwellness that existed within the lineage, and it's not about them, but it's the energies of the ancestors that are not well, that were. Can you hear me? I don't know what happened there. Yeah. You know, yeah, the energy of the ancestors that were not well, that were truly showing up in their physical beings or physical embodiments, because they too carry ancestors that they are consciously or unconsciously aware of, that needed help and healing. And so for me, this is truly a powerful experience, because this one space, which was the kaya kulu, or the hut, or the ceremonial space, where the family would do ritual, and I've never told this story before, by the way, because it's always been like, what? And so it was a space where I really had to learn about the wisdom of the ancestors, but also learn about the pain and the generational trauma that existed within my lineage. And it showed up physically. It tested me so much, so greatly, so greatly. And there was a point where I sat down and I was like, I don't get it. It's like, you tell me to do something, and I came to them because the beauty is that it's a relational thing. And this is my work as well, that I love to do, is truly create relationships, not dictatorships. I hate the ideology that the ancestors dictate to us, but we build relationships where we can be honest, stern with them too, just as much as they can be honest, stern with us. So I cried. I was like, but what is your problem? Why would you come to me and tell me to do this, and then everything falls apart in my life? Like, it makes no sense. Like, who the hell are you? I was doing fine, I had a good life. You just destroyed everything, you know? And so for me, the beauty of that, in those moments where I would have these conflicts, in these moments where I would have these immense anger towards my ancestors, they would sit there and be like, no, remember, this is why you're here. And this is what you chose to do. And we chose you because you have the capacity to be able to handle all of this conflict. We chose you because you are the one that carries the torch from the many healers and the many lines. And unfortunately, colonization did a number on us in many ways, because a lot of people stopped the healing legacy and the healing work, that was needed to be done. And so back at home, we have Amakrecha and Sangomas and all of these medicine men and medicine women who used to easily fit into the system and continue to heal. But that was broken many, many generations ago. And they said, you're the one that will repair that, And so the beauty of the work that they chose for me to do was to recognize that I am more than just an individual who's building a hut, who's building a roundhouse, who's building a kaya kulu, but they showed me a physical representation of what the lineage looks like when the house is dilapidated, and the house is a symbolism of the lineage. And rebuilding that, and the conflict and the trauma and the pain that came with that, but at the same time, the strength, the courage, and the wisdom that I had to tap into, and the expansion that came with that. It was the most beautiful process. I always think of Kaya Kulu, or this roundhouse, or this hut, as a great form of strength, a great form of, ancestral healing, ancestral lineage healing. And when I'd finished it, after many, 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 many conflicts and many, many, my bank account was basically like, oof, drained. I was like, oh, gee, thanks, guys. Take away my wife, take away my money. What's next? And then I built a space, and I looked at it, and I just started to cry. I just started to really cry, because with great opportunity for ancestral transformation and turning your wounding into wisdom. And it's not even about you, it's about the generational legacy that you leave behind. Oh, comes this wisdom. And for me, the beautiful thing is because our relationship with my ancestors was tested, and it's been many other occasions and many other stories that I could tell, but this one for me just stands out. Because I went through that experience, my relationship with my ancestors shifted completely, you know? It shifted completely from this idea that a person would knock and say, this is what I want, and then you got to do it, to let's sit down and talk about what are the pains. And that's the wisdom. You have to go through a trial, you know, you have to go to a trial in order for you to be able to find ways to transform, you know, the wound that we always complain about and cry about. And the words that are so commonly used these days, my ancestors always had a good laugh about it, is trauma has become such a common word, but trauma is wisdom when you learn how to utilize the medicine that it brings. Your wounds are where the wisdom lies. Your wounds are where the ancestral medicine is. Your wounds are the space where, oh man, miracles occur. Your wounds are the space where I could go on, you know, about the beauty of the relationship that I've built with my ancestors as a result of taking on just that one ancestrally aligned mission. There have been many others, you know, many other challenges, because these guys always throw me in the deep end. They're like, well, figure it out. You've done it before, you know. And I always have a good laugh about it. I'm like, okay, well, let's do it, you know, because I know now. And the beauty is that then there's this trust. There's this trust, you know, I trust them and they trust me. Remember, the wisdom is also to be able to know that no matter what happens, they've got your back. No matter how bad it looks, they've got your back. The ancestors are with you. And I always say, like, and I always recall this moment where I was sitting in my ancestral council where they were like, well, there'll be two on this side that will send, and there'll be two on this side that will send. And don't you worry, we'll take good care of you. And of course, it took me a while to have this ancestral remembrance, this deep, deep seated, fully embodied knowing that I do not walk alone. I fear no, you know, the famous quote, I fear no evil because I know. Oof. And then over time, because I was also young and I was a little bit arrogant because I thought I was so powerful. Anyway, I said, you know what? If you knew who walks with me, you wouldn't mess with me. Do you know who I am? You know, I'll show you my ancestral gang. They'll take care of you. You know, but the beauty is this, right? The beauty is this, it also becomes a fun experience. It becomes a joyous experience. It doesn't become heavy anymore. It becomes light. There's a great, great privilege in walking a path where you know that your ancestors have your back. There's a deep, deep sense of wisdom that comes with that, and clarity that I cannot even begin to understand. And the beautiful thing for me is that now they send me on all of these different ancestral missions, I call them, you know, where they literally say, okay, cool, you've ticked that one, fantastic. Now let's see if we can stretch you out a little bit more. So we'll send you to here. And they do that. And for me, I just trust, you know. There's this unwavering faith. There's this just deep sense of knowing that my ancestors have my back. They'll never disappoint me. And that is where the wisdom lies once you heal the wounds, once you sit with the discomfort, once you learn. And of course, they also taught me a whole lot about spiritual escapism. That's another thing, you know, where you would spend a million years on this incredible spiritual life. You'd meditate, but the reality is you're still here to live. You still have to deal with the psychological impact of all of the things that have happened during this period. So I had to learn to reach back to my elders and be like, Mama, I'm dying, help me. You know, this is why I love my elders. You know, I call my mama all the time. I'm like, listen, man, like, I don't know what to do anymore. These guys are just pushing me around too much. And, you know, and then he counsels me. He puts me back together. They put me back together. And that's why I always say, for me, that the most powerful thing any individual can do is to have a council of twofold. The first one is your ancestral council. Get to know your people. Develop a deep dive relationship with your ancestors. And the second one is develop a relationship with elders that can hold you accountable to your ancestral mission, to your ancestral destiny. Because if you don't have elders that will sit with you and tell you straight up, there's a lot of people who lie to you in this world. But I found elders who are strong, and you witness the work that they do. You know, Mom Tozi Fobi is just a great example. I just watch the work that she does. Mama Manda is a fantastic example. Just watch the work that they do. It speaks for itself. So who else? Where else could I go so that I can sit under this powerful baobab tree and cry and be like, I've had it. It's enough. And then they're like, okay, cool. We hear you. Take a week off and then get back to it. You know, that's what they usually say. It's like, take a week off, you know, learn to take care of your body, listen to your body, you know, because ancestors, from our perspective, from mostly African perspective, they come to you on a physiological level and they sit on your body and they're like, oh, they embody you. We embody the ancestors because the ancestors, the physical vessel, the body is our temple, you know, and so take good care of yourself. Eat well, they would say. You know, what are you eating? What's your diet like? Ooh, how are you exercising? And it's funny because there was a point in my one journey, I went to the States and I was doing some work in the States for some time. And I promise you, the level of expansion, there's this like expansion that the physical body cannot handle at times. You know, it's just too much when you just like expand and grow so much, you know, because of the level of trust that the ancestors have put with you. So it's up to you because the ancestors will give you and open up many doors for you to expand and explore and be in good relationship with many different aspects. But it's up to you to take care of your physical vessel so that you can hold onto the prana, the nu, the energy, the kundalini as it rises. You have to be able to take care of that. I could go on and on and on. I know I'm running out of time. Sorry.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
And
5 minutes. Fantastic. Sorry. Okay. You know, when they said I had 30 minutes, I was like, God, ancestors, how can we just cram this into like, I usually talk for hours. Yes. 5 minutes. Okay. Thank you so much. I guess let's go through a process again. I invite you to just close your eyes. We'll just do a short meditation for 5 minutes. Close your eyes and just ground yourself. I know that this is a very short period of time, but just open up your spirit right now. Feel into your heart. Just allow your heart space to expand and allow your crown chakra to open up. Allow all the energy portals just to open up in a good way. And once that's done, feel into the winds and the whispers of the ancestors as they speak, because they speak the whole time. Are you listening is the question. We speak, are you listening? Feel into the drops of the rain that hit your face. These are the tears of joy that the ancestors bring for you. Look at the waves of the ocean. Feel into the waves of the ocean. They carry such powerful messages. Are you listening? Feel into the trees as the wind blows them left and right. There is powerful medicine. Are you listening? Are you listening to us as we try to remind you of your ancestral mission and destiny in this life and in this time? Are you listening? Learn to listen because we speak. Are you listening? And if you struggle to listen, slow down, switch off, go into nature. We will teach you all that you need to know. Sitikosi Tamagwini, we give thanks for this time. And we hope that whatever words have been shared, you take into the dreamscapes, you take into the conscious spaces that you move in. And may the ancestors continue to bless and nourish you in all ways possible. Remember this, within the wounds, within the so-called trauma, lies the greatest wisdom. When we sit in conscious alignment with our ancestral mission. Sitikosi Tamagwini Makosa Makulu Siatobos.
Mm. Thank you so much, Litha. I mean, we could listen to you all day, and I do believe the ancestors are with you because that background noise just disappeared. It's a so thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that with us and then, your wisdom and your journey and being like really vulnerable with us and opening up to us. And thank you so much.